What's up, makeup minions? I'm Kim Witte from WitteArtistry, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am really excited because I got to do a hand illusion. I just got this new Mehron cream makeup palette for like foundations. I wanted to get used to it and test it out before I start doing transformations when I turn into other people and celebrities. And I think this is a pretty good first go around. I'm really excited to show you guys how to do this. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button below, but let's get into the tutorial. If you like me and like my videos, it would mean the world to me if you became a sponsor on my Patreon page. I really wanted to just be creative with this makeup look. I wanted to do something on my hand, and I have this vision of like my hand being made out of skin ribbons, but without being super gory. I just drew with a eyebrow pencil, and I wanted to test out this new palette I got from Mehron that I'm super excited to use. I wanted to get good with it because I have some plans in the future to create like illusions of turning into other people. But I was inspired by Mimi Cho for this look. It's really hard to find accurate reference photos for something so random and so strange. There isn't really anything out there. So I just went back and forth between Mimi Cho's looks and then actual pictures of ribbons on the internet. I am using a medium tone cream makeup to create sort of the back part of the ribbon as it's spiraling, and the parts that are closest to the highest curls of the ribbon are going to be with a darker cream color. These are all cream body paints, by the way, and I'm just blending out that dark color towards the center. There's one of the ribbons I was referencing. So as you can see, like the highest points are super bright and curly, and then as it goes underneath itself, it gets darker, and it's darker closest to the upper portion because the upper portion is casting a shadow on the lower portion. My brain was starting to get a little confused, so the parts that I felt confident about, I decided to outline in black because I wanted ultimately this to blend into a black background and look like my hand is unraveling. So with a Mehron Paradise aqua color paint, I am just filling in the areas around my forearm that I want to disappear. I did the same thing for my hands. I found that it was easier to plan with the black where the under curls of the ribbons were going to go. It just made it easier on my brain than just looking at my blank skin and going, what the heck am I doing? So between each band, I sort of have a diagonal line that connects the left side of a band to the upper right side of another band, and that's just sort of the pattern I went with on my fingers. And then my fingers on the end are going to taper off into like little nubs. So that's just what I have got set up going on. The setup that I have going on here. I did mess up on my pinky though. I have it going in the wrong direction, so later I will be fixing that. So just ignore that for now. Carefully fill in the areas on your hand that are going to disappear as well. For my hand, I sort of wanted it to be closer together ribbons. I didn't want this to just be one consistent distance or spiral for the ribbon, so I have a couple of bands that are bigger and closer together. Like I said, I was really just feeling creative and I wanted to just try something new. I have always been fascinated by like Mimi Cho and Instagram artists like that create these crazy cool illusions, and I just really wanted to try my hand at it. So I added a little bit of the black body paint to the darkest brown in the palette, and I'm creating some intense shading just along the edges of the upper ribbon band when it transitions into the downward spiral of the lower ribbon. And then you blend that towards the center to create an actual circular spiral sort of feeling to the ribbon. This is a really hard one to explain. And then where there's bands next to each other, I'm making sure I'm outlining the edge of the upper portion of the ribbon so it really has separation from the lower part. Using a medium color out of this palette, I am separating my two little hand bands, and I'm cleaning up edges and feathering things out just with a little chisel brush. I'm repeating the same process I did on my hand on my forearm. So I am adding in some darker shades on the edges of the under portions of the band. And now I am fixing my pinky just like I promised I would. It's important that the top bands have a separation from the lower band, so I'm creating that on my fingers, just making a very thin, distinct line. Another challenge of working on a makeup like this that's spiraled is I wanted to be able to move my hand a little bit so you could actually see the thing move. So I had to be mindful of what the sides of my fingers were going to look like as well. But now I'm switching to highlighting, which is what really brings this whole look together. I am taking the lightest color in the palette and the second lightest color in the palette, and I am just creating a sharp line on the upper edges and lower edges of the highest portions of the skin ribbons. I'm adding a little bit of highlight into the center of the biggest bands on the lower portion because they are big enough to catch some light. Like I said, it would be really beneficial if you're looking at like a ribbon that you use for like presents. You could spiral in a little curl just to see how the light catches and looks super nice on it. But I am just blending out those highlights because I don't want it to be a super stark line. I just want it to look like a crisp, clean edge to give the illusion that this is something fantastical, that this is a ribbon instead of just a weird thing painted on my hand. I found this incredibly enjoyable. I was listening to comedians the entire time I was doing this and just having so much fun. And I could sing and laugh while I was doing it because I'm so used to doing stuff on my face, which is like so demanding. And I've been having some skin issues recently on my face, so I have been trying to minimize the amount of times I am painting on my face recently. So this was just a nice solution. Then with that dark cream makeup again, I'm going to be going on the upper and lower edges of the lower bands in my fingers. These are really tight spirals, so the shadowing is much more extensive than it is on my forearm, just because there's less exposure to the light as it coils around in that like short little tight twisty-turny thing. My favorite part of this whole look is definitely my fingers. Once I get the tips of them made into the little nub, it just looks so freaky when you put it in front of a black background. That's what I'm doing right now. I just colored the tips of my fingers in sort of a little nub shape with a medium dark brown, and then I'm outlining the nub in black, which is sort of just around my nails. Then I am going to be highlighting on the hand and the finger as well. With highlighting, it is a process. It's like you go back and forth. Sometimes you over blend it and you just need it to be a little bit more sharp. So I did do that a little bit on my hand, and I'm also, putting it on my fingers and blending it out on my fingers a little bit. Just make sure you don't go too far with the blending, but of course you can always just add a little bit more if you do go too far. Then to make it look like my arm is unraveling, I'm creating some very faint diagonal lines on my skin portion of my forearm. And you are all done. I'm a ribbon. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. What do you think? Thank you guys for watching this video. I really appreciate it. This was a lot of fun to create, so I hope you enjoyed watching it as well. And please, if there's ever anything you want to see on this channel, please just let me know in the comments below. And feel free to share this video if you think someone else will like it. Also, huge shout out to my wonderful Patreon producers. Whatcha! Without you guys, I couldn't make cool stuff like this, so thank you so much for supporting me. But I will see you guys in the next video.